This is the deck profile for Prisma Illya.
Prisma Illya, yeah.
Prisma Illya, okay. You can show up Prisma.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead, start.
Okay, so yeah, it has the new cards from Zwei Part 2, whatever the hell they called it. So it still runs the Kaleidoscope combo, which I'll get to when I hit level 3. So yeah, the new set got a lot of new tech that helped draw towards Kaleidoscope pieces and get the combo off more efficiently. Or like more consistently. So at level 0 we still have 4 runners. 4 core runners, mill runners. It's just for level 0 for beaters. Helps keep field. Also run 4 of this Brainstorm from the new set, which gives a global 500 on opponent's turn and pay 1 rest to search Brainstorm, so I could get cards that I need at various stages of the game. I would normally have 2 of that card in the back row to give a global 1000 on my opponent's turn. Then I run 4 of this card. It's also from the new set. On play, I draw a card and discard. And when I attack and there's a blue climax in play, I also draw and discard. So this helps me filter out cards in my hand really effectively, helps me draw climaxes towards the end game. And finally I have 3 of this Miyu card from the new set. On play Scry, and also on play I pay 1 to bond for 1-0 Illya, which is Ellie clone. So overall just 15 level 0s because this deck is really heavy on level 1s. And then at level 1 I have 2 of this Illya from the second set, I believe. It has a climax combo with pants. So this climax, when I play this climax, and I think this has to be in the front row, I could search for 1 copy of this 1/1 Kuro from deck and place it into any slot on the field. And her downside for having 500 more power than a vanilla is that if she attacks with 2 or less stock, she gets sent to waiting room, so she dies. So I have to make sure she has 3 stock or she can't attack without dying. And then I have 4 copies of this Illya from the new set. If I have experience 2 or more, I could on play ditch a card to look at the top 4 cards of my deck and add a magic character from those to my hand. So the Kasi effect, it helps me move through my deck when I have when I'm like really thin on climaxes, and helps me hand fix or like just grab cards that I need. Pretty good card.
It's still expensive, good staple.
And then I run 4 of this Illya. She gains 500 power for every magic character on the field. And it's this card that is bonded to by this Miyu. So when she gets killed off, I could just play this Miyu, pay 1 stock, and bring her back really effectively. And on my opponent's turn with, say, 2 of these Brainstorms in the back row, she sits at 7-5, which is really good when I also have this backup in hand. So this is just a 2k backup for magic characters. And yeah, so I use this backup for this Illya and for this Kuro to keep them alive, because they have, with back row they will sit at 7,500 and 8,500 power. So for level 1s I run for 16 I believe, which is a really high number. But I make it through. I guess. And then I run one level 2. This is Refresh Miyu from the second set. If I play this with 5 or less cards in my deck, I get to refresh without taking damage, and I give a card 3,000 power until the end of my opponent's turn. And I could also pay 2 and rest 2 cards to draw a card. I don't really use the second effect, but getting to refresh without taking damage is essentially a heal, so that's pretty good. I get to play this card at level 2 because it's an early play with 4 or more magic characters on the field. She comes out a level early, so at level 2. Also on play, I get to draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and if I do so, I blind stock cards. So it's a level 3 card that comes out at level 2 for 1 stock essentially, and I get to draw 2 cards, which again lets me get closer to my Kaleidoscope combo, which I am going to talk about now. So the Kaleidoscope combo is based off of 2 cards. It's a climax combo with this pants. So with this pants, so their on-play effects are Illya's is on-play draw 2 discard 1, and Miyu's is on-play look at up to X cards from the top of your deck and add 1 to your hand, where X is the number of magic characters on the field. And they both have a climax combo with this sword class saber, Miyu, I think is what it's called. Her effect is when I place the climax, if there's another Miyu on the field, this Kaleidoscope Miyu, I get to mill the top card of my deck, and if that card is level 0 or 1, I can discard another copy of this climax from my hand to waiting room, and all my characters get burn 1 on attack. And then Miyu's climax combo with this climax is when the climax is placed, I get to, if she's in the front row, I think, I get to draw a card, and she gains 1,500 power until the end of my opponent's turn. And when she reverses my opponent's character, I get to bottom deck that character. So all this deck really does is draw ideally 3 copies of this climax, and probably 2 copies of Illya and 1 copy of Miyu in the front row. If I'm really greedy, I can get 3 copies of Illya in the front row and 1 copy of Miyu, and then all 4 copies of this in my hand. So I could hopefully get a burn 3 on attack, which will probably win me the game. So also to help ensure that I get this burn on attack effect off is this last level 3. On play, I get to look at the top 6 cards of my deck, put 3 back in any order, and move the other 3 to my waiting room. So this lets me rearrange the top cards of my deck so I can guarantee Illya's effect going on. Also on play, I could pay 1, discard 1 to heal, and give her 1,000 power. So yeah, this entire deck revolves around pushing my opponent to level 3 and then playing 2 copies of the Illya, 1 copy of the Miyu, getting 3 copies of this climax out in order to give every character burn 2 on attack. So yeah, it's a very powerful finisher. Yeah.
Any fun matchups?
Fun matchups. I played against 2 opponents which had a level 3 where if they don't cancel damage, they get to look at the top card of their deck and move it to waiting room or leave it on top of the deck. So this is a pretty good counter to the burn on attack effect, because for every point of damage they take, let's say the burn 2 sticks, they get to look at the top 2 cards of their deck and move it to waiting room if it's not a climax. So they get to cancel much more effectively with that card on the field. I also only run probably quote-unquote minimal number of level 3s.
Do you have one?
So it would be 11 level 3, 10 level 3s and 1 level 2, because these are the only cards that can prevent the Illya's combo from going off, because her combo requires a level 0 or 1 to be milled. And if I mill any of these cards, then I don't get to discard this climax in order to get the burn off.
You want to brick on the top side.
Yes.
Ones and zeros.
Yes. Additionally, I run 8 hand triggers so that I could get this climax to my hand more effectively. Because if I trigger either of these climaxes, I get to salvage a climax from waiting room to hand. So a lot of draw in this deck to get climaxes and these cards. This early play is a really good addition to the deck because it helps me get climaxes and Illya and Miyu. And this level 0 also helps me draw towards this card. So there's an awful lot of drawing in this deck. And climax patch triggers in order to get 3 copies of this card to my deck, which is probably the hardest part, because normally I could leave maybe several copies of the Illya or Miyu, and then at level 3 I just play and draw into them and play them. So it's a pretty all-in deck, because this is the only finisher the deck has. So if I don't get enough copies of this climax, or like a Miyu in my hand, which this combo needs, or if I only get 1 Illya, then this whole climax combo falls flat on his face, and I have to wait a turn or something. It's a pretty all-in deck. But it's really good if I can get a burn 2 on attack off. And my opponent's at level 3. Anything else?
I don't know.
I don't know how you're talking about the pillbox going off the back. How's not picking it up?
We'll find out what happens.
If it's too bad, just
just
you can just scrap it. It doesn't matter.